Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Studio 90 Extra Time with Becky Sauerbrunn. Becky, how's it going?
Thank you.
How's everything?
Everything's great. Thank you for asking.
So, now that you're in Germany, are people calling you Becky Sauerbrunn? Like, besides Ali Krieger?
No, only Ali Krieger. Actually, no. Walshy, in a meeting the other day, pronounced my last name Sauerbrunn. And I was thinking, you've been my coach for almost 5 years, and you can't pronounce my name correctly.
What's it like now that you're actually here at a World Cup in Germany?
You can feel it amongst the team that there's just a heightened sense of excitement, of preparation. Everything's coming down to very small, minute details, and you can tell everybody's just soaking as much in as possible before the first game.
As a player who worked your way into the team kind of little by little, it's sort of a testament to how hard you've worked that you're here now.
Yeah, I had been in with Pia in 2008, and she had let me go. I went back down with the 23s, and I hadn't had any communication with her for, 2.5 years almost. And so I just really thought this World Cup was just not in the cards for me. And it was pretty lucky, actually, that I even found my way back into the team just because there was an injury before qualifying tournament in Mexico. And so she called me in last second. And so somehow made that roster and then just stuck around since.
You get your foot in the door as a player. What's it like, taking that first step and then taking the next step? You make that qualifying training camp roster, and then you make the qualifying team. What are you telling yourself?
Oh, it's definitely a journey. That first initial camp, I had absolutely nothing to lose. And when you have nothing to lose, it's a sense of freedom when you're playing that, you're just going to play how you play, put everything out there, and let the chips fall where they may. And after that, after I made that first roster, that kind of changes, and all of a sudden you do have something you can lose. You can lose your spot. And so it's really one training session at a time, one camp at a time, just showing well, doing what you can, showing that you're a good teammate on and off the field, and just kind of adding something to the table that a lot of maybe players don't add. So it's a journey that's changed for me, but I still find myself wanting to go back to that first camp and playing how I did then, where it was I have nothing to lose, because I think that's when your best soccer comes out.
You mentioned showing why you're in these camps. What do you think that Pia sees that you bring to this team?
Center back is probably my position. It's where I'm most comfortable, where I've gotten the most experience. But having played a lot of different positions along the back line, I bring a sense of versatility that comes in handy, especially in tournaments like these when you have a set roster and God forbid there are any injuries. It's nice to have a player that can just kind of slide in, hopefully effortlessly, and do a good job. It's really fun to slide out in the outside positions, and it's completely different. The defending's different. I mean, you get involved in the attack more, so it's a nice change.
You have credited WPS, I think, with helping you sort of maintain a high level, when you weren't with the team. How crucial of a factor was that in sort of helping you be in a position where you could come into a national team camp?
I think it's the reason why I got back in with the national team. I owe the WPS so much, just from Washington Freedom with the coaches that I had there, playing with Abby and with Kat and just all the other amazing players. Day in and day out, you get better and you learn from people. The only reason I feel like that I made it here is just because I had that platform to play and to learn and to grow, and having the coaching staff, the national coaching staff, be able to come to games and see me week in and week out. I think that helps certainly a player like me who, when they play, probably is not the most flashiest player. You see me one time, you're probably not going to say like, oh, she's a decent player. I think I'm someone that kind of grows on you after you see me a couple times.
Speaking of WPS, you had played in every minute of every game since the league's inception, which is pretty crazy, but now that you're here at the World Cup, that streak is broken, I guess. Is that bittersweet in a way?
Oh, very bittersweet. It was something that I was very proud of, being able to play every minute of every game in the WPS. But if it had to end, there's absolutely no better reason than to be at a World Cup.
So let's go back to your college years. You're at University of Virginia. You were an English major. What's your reading list like for a long trip like this?
I am currently reading Game of Thrones, and it's a sci-fi series, and I'm on book 2 of it, and there's, I think, only 5 books written so far. So they also just made it into an HBO series. So
yeah, we were talking about that a lot here on the Studio 90 set.
Oh, really?
So,
are you a fan?
We definitely enjoyed this series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really good. But don't talk about book 2 because some of us have only seen the first season.
I promise I won't give anything away.
Last question. This is a really important one, actually. Are you planning to see Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 in Germany or in the USA?
If I can see it here, I'd absolutely see it here opening night. I don't know if that's going to be allowed, but I definitely intend to see it as soon as possible.
So like 12:01 a.m. showing, or?
Depends.
Okay,
It depends.
I guess it won't happen like that since we're at a World Cup, but
Right.
ideally, would you like hit the midnight showing of one of these movies?
Ideally, if I didn't have like soccer the next day that I had to be prepared for, yes, absolutely.
So like full on wizard gown, like dressed up.
Ooh, I don't know if I'd go that far. I might put like a lightning bolt on my forehead and then call it a day.
That would be awesome. And we're going to call it a day here on Extra Time as well. You can see the U.S. women's national team take on Korea DPR to open the World Cup on June 28th on ESPN, ESPN3, and Galavision. Kickoff is at 11:45 a.m. Eastern Time. Becky, thanks for coming by Extra Time.
Thank you.